Hey, gorgeous people. Hope you're having a great start to your Friday, and I'm excited to jump in with today's video all about being able to overcome your fear. Our life, and this was actually something that was shared with me the other day by one of my mentors, mindset coaches, and it just struck such a deep chord with me. And I just thought, oh my gosh, this is so true. And I can see, certainly for my own self, where I've held back because of fear and haven't been able to have the level of growth that I would like to, or change my life in the ways that I would like to. Good morning, beautiful Annette. Loads of love to you, gorgeous lady. Where the fear comes up in our inability to be able to move past our experience, then this is what actually keeps us contracted long term. And so the statement that she said to me was, our life is in direct proportion to our willingness to be able to overcome our fear. And I see this so much, particularly in the phase of burnout as well, because when we're contracting, when we're living in fear, when we're holding back the fullness of who we are, the largest version of who we are, out of fear, out of worry about what other people think, out of not living our fullest dreams and our desires. And I've often spoke about this in the past, where I truly believe that the greatest conflict that we have as human beings is our ego survival mind that wants to protect us, that wants to keep us safe. Good morning. Say hello if you're jumping on here. And so our ego survival mind that wants to keep us safe, and our heart and the truth of who we actually really are, which is to be able to create that and express that. Now, one of the reasons, if we're talking, esoteric terms, I truly believe that polarity exists, is the fear of, wanting to survive, wanting to stay safe, the ego survival mind, and love, like the truth of who we are, is to be able to know ourselves more innately. Because in truth, like, how do you know what hot is if you haven't experienced what cold is? So when we're experiencing great fear, it's in the illusion of that we can know more clearly, A, what it is that we want in life, and B, more of the truth of who we are through the experience of not being who we are, if that makes sense. Now, you might be like, no, but this is the way that I've always been, or this is the way that I've always felt, or I've always felt a huge amount of anxiety, or always had fear. Fear is innately built into our system as human beings. That is our ego survival mind that wants to protect us, wants to keep us safe, wants to fit in, wants to belong. We are hardwired for that stuff because our very base survival depends on that when we're born. Now, if you think about this, if we're unable to overcome our fear, say in the area of relationship, it means that we never get to experience the depth and the joy and the surrender of coming into an amazing and incredible intimate relationship. And if we always kind of hold back, we've got one foot in, one foot out, or we're never willing to actually truly open our heart and be vulnerable, and that takes tremendous courage to express the fullness of who we actually are, or to speak our truth. All of those things take a huge degree of courage. And it is built upon the base foundation of self-love. And so if we don't have that as a base foundation, you'll find that it is much more difficult to access that energy of courage for yourself. Because the fear that we won't belong, that we'll be rejected, that we'll be abandoned, that we won't fit in, that somebody will criticize us, or the fear of failure, all of those things really do come up and kind of slam us a little. And so if you think about any other area of life, if you're wanting to start your own business, if you are not willing to embrace the fear that comes up, if you're not willing to actually see that and step through that, and honestly, it is exhilarating on the other side of that. It's really tricky when we're holding ourselves back. I know the first time that I did a live, like, I was shaking like an absolute leaf. And even 6 months ago, I was still sharing, and some days, like, I have a lot of anxiety about actually jumping on, and it's just like I mightn't be feeling my normal high vibe self, or I might be just in a little bit of ego survival mind stuff. Oh my gosh, what are people going to think of me? What if they don't like it? Like, all of that stuff. But this is where having a powerful why and a powerful reason pulls us back to being able to tap into that courage at the deeper level. And often, it's just like, wow, if I can just even step through this fear for myself, I've liberated myself. And in truth, I think every single human being craves freedom at the highest level. And that is the difference between living a life controlled by fear, or allowing our fears to control us and holding back. In essence, that's what being agoraphobic, really is at its essence, is being so terrified of actually stepping outside, being so controlled by our own thoughts and our own fears that we limit our life, we live it, our living experience in so many ways, because we're constantly contracting and trying to live in a space that keeps us safe. And in essence, I wrote a blog post the other day about wanting peace and calm. And if you're wanting peace and calm in your life, which I truly get, I've certainly been, I'm not saying I haven't experienced any of that myself. I was living in a place where I just wanted to be able to rest. I just wanted to be able to feel safe. I just wanted to feel taken care of, all of those things, because that is what the ego survival mind craves the most, to know that it's safe, to know that it's secure, to know that everything's going to be okay. And if we keep projecting into the future, that's where our mind can really run away with ourselves. And it's like no amount of money can ever cure that fear of I might run out of money, because you're always projecting into the future. And so you might be like, oh my gosh, I feel like I haven't got enough money till next week. But other people, once that's taken care of, it might be, well, I feel like, oh, I need more money because I haven't got enough for 6 months from now, or 12 months from now, or 2 years from now, or I'm going to go into retirement and now I haven't got enough for that. So it's all these things. And I'm not saying that, we shouldn't take care of those things, but if you're allowing fear to run your life every single day, it will keep you paralyzed. But worse still, it will actually lead you to extreme burnout and living a life of stress, fear, and worry, and angst and anxiety, and all of those things. And it is really, really difficult on the human body, because our human body is really designed to have a lot of love flowing through it, a lot of energy, a lot of creativity. That is who we are in our core essence, is creative beings. We're here to create our life. And if we're constantly squishing that down and pushing that down and contracting that and withholding from what we actually truly feel called from our heart to express, out of fear of what are others going to think, or other people will laugh at me, other people will be jealous of me, other people will think I'm too greedy, other people will, it's all those fears about what are others going to be thinking, or even, I'm going to fail, or I'm going to make a fool of myself, or I'm not going to be able to do it, or I can't do it, or I don't know how to do it, or any of those fears. Anytime that's coming up, we're diminishing our energy, and we're really pinching ourselves off from our own well-being and from the very solutions that can actually show up, that we can attract in our life from who we're being, and then have those amazing synchronicities, have those amazing opportunities where we connect with people and meet people and have this amazing life experience where it's just oh my God, the better it gets, the better it gets. And life gets to move from a great state of flow when that's actually happening as well. So all of these things are so super important. And like I said, when we're really holding ourselves back out of fear, and it could be a story that you've told yourself in your head, I can't do it, or I'm not able to do it, or, constant fear of failure, constant fear of success, constant fear of letting people down in your life, or disappointing people, or not living up to other people's expectations, or fear of responsibility. All those things are creating a visual image in your mind. So, and when we're doing that, when we're saying that thought, we will look with literally hypnotizing the mind to go and search for evidence as to why that's true. And so you'll start to collect evidence, you'll start to believe that, and pretty soon that thought actually becomes a strong belief. And it's no, you don't actually get it. This is really the honest truth of how this actually is and why this is true in my life. And we hypnotize ourselves again and again and again, because whatever we're suggesting to ourselves, the mind will go out and search for evidence as to why that's actually true. And we've always got all of that available, why it's correct or why it's not correct. You can find evidence, I'm certain, on both sides. Now, sometimes if we've had a particular way of thinking or had a particular belief always showing up, then it might be difficult to collect evidence on the other side, because the mind is not used to looking for it. But I can promise you, a lot of the processes that I take myself through and take my clients through, that's part of the process of busting some of those limiting beliefs, busting some of those old myths and the old narrative of who we've believed that we were, which is blocking us from being and expressing our fullest truth and living a life that you truly love, through expressing your greatest desires, through being who you fully are. And in essence, that is absolutely the gift that you're here to give. a lot of people, want to know what their purpose is. The purpose of your life is to be you and express you fully. And there's great joy in that when we allow ourselves to go with that and not to block ourselves from fear. And that's not to say we don't feel fear. Obviously, you can't have courage if there's not fear present. That's truly what courage is, right? But it's about really enabling ourselves. And I think Susan Jeffries says it perfectly in the book, feel the fear and do it anyway. In the essence of that, like what she says is our deepest fear is that I'm not going to be able to handle that. So like that's what we're saying to ourselves unconsciously or subconsciously, is, oh my God, if this happens, I'd never be able to cope. And get clear in yourself and really choose to go, well, actually, what would be the worst thing that could happen if the worst thing happened? Would I be able to cope with that? Would I be able to move past that, or find a depth of love within myself on some level? To find a deeper reason, to find a deeper purpose, to actually explore why has this happened and how can I now use this for the betterment of my life, for the expression, the fullest expression of who I actually really am. And, anytime we're talking about success or success on any level, and success means lots of different things to lots of different people, it is never a straight line. And often that can be what trips people up, because they think if they fail once, then they've busted it, then they've stuffed it, and why bother kind of keep going? What's the point? And the point is, every single time we fail or we make a mistake, or we fail at it perfectly, and when I say fail at it perfectly, it's like you just show up and you do your best at that time, and then you learn from that and you get better and better and more. It's like anything, if somebody says, oh, well, I can't tie my shoelaces, or I can't do this particular thing. At one point in your life, you weren't able to tie your shoelaces, you weren't able to ride a bike, you weren't able to walk, you didn't know how to clean your teeth. Like, there's all these sorts of things where you are doing that on a daily basis without even thinking. But often we block ourselves from that learning process, and we see it as a failure as opposed to what it truly is, which is a learning experiential process of refining ourselves and coming to greater and greater levels of mastery, and being able to extend beyond that. And in truth, that's all that overcoming your fears really actually is. You push up against that enough times, you break through enough times, every single time that fear shows up. And at one point in my life, I was just like, oh no, fear's my issue. Like, if I just get rid of fear, like I've just got to figure out this way of like getting rid of this fear, and then I'll be good. Then I can just live life, and then it will be all awesome. And it was just like, it was a lovely thought to have at the time. I'm like, yeah, cool, right, that's just what I need to do. And what I noticed was that every single time I cleared the fear on a particular thing, when I went to the next level, whether that was in a relationship, whether that was with my body, whether that was in my business, whether that was with money, like whatever area it was, there was always, and often, the same fear would come up again, but at a deeper level, and I would get to heal it at a deeper level. And when you get used to that process of just, oh, here's the fear, yep, I must be right on the edge. And I had this experience yesterday in making a huge commitment to myself in a big goal that I'm creating for myself moving forward. And I cried, I cried and cried and cried, because it was the releasing of the fear as I decided to step into that, as I decided to speak my own truth into what that was for me and how much that meant to me and how much I wanted to create that in my life. And, all the fears then bubble to the surface very, very quickly, because that is how we expand, that is how we evolve, that is how we grow. And in truth, like I said at the start, that your life is in direct proportion to your ability to be able to overcome your fears, to see them for what they are, to be able to step through them, embrace them, love them, thank them for showing up, because they're there to protect you and there to keep you safe, and say thank you very much, dear friend of mine, and you can step aside, I'm moving forward anyway. And in truth, that's the only difference between people that truly succeed and people that aren't living the life of their dreams, is the willingness to be able to embrace their fear and to choose to move forward regardless of their fears or how much fear that they're feeling. They're choosing to act anyhow. And like I said, when we're not overcoming our fears, that really does lead us to a lot of burnout, a lot of exhaustion. Like when you are living that day-to-day stress, that day-to-day fatigue, exhaustion of holding yourself back, of limiting yourself, of not fully expressing the truth of who you are. often we can burn out from that place as well. And so if that is you, it's imperative to be able to get the tools and to know how to actually move through those fears. And it's exactly what I deal with in my Thrive program. It's something I've, continued to experiment with and master with in my own life. And sometimes, my fears do stop me temporarily, and then I'll take another run at it, and then I'll have another look at it. And being able to really step into the truth of that really allows us to live this unlimited freedom. And like I said, every single time we go to the next level, there's more fears that pop up. But once you've learnt the skills, once you've got the tools, once you've got the strategies for being able to A, master your own emotions so you can take action anyway, and B, be able to truly align yourself with what it is that you're wanting to create. Because if we're in fear, we're way out of alignment emotionally and physically with what it is that we want to create, and you will not take action from that place, or it's very difficult to take action from that place. When you've got a big enough, powerful why, then that is often what allows us to really step through that with courage in our heart. And when we've built that foundation of self-love, then if you do fail, or if you do, and in truth, there's no failing, right? It's just like learning. But depending on the language that we use and how we actually see that and what we make it mean, you can cushion yourself with that beautiful safety net of self-love, be able to pick yourself up and keep going. And that's one of the most important factors, obviously, of resilience, determination, tenacity, all those things that really help us to step through those fears and create that life that we truly want to be living. So if that is you, if you really resonate with that, I really encourage you to reach out. I'll pop a link below that you can book in a call to really see, and particularly if you're struggling with exhaustion and fatigue and you really resonate with, holy crap, I'm really holding myself back, and you can feel that like within your center, that there's more in you to give, to be, to express, to live, and to evolve into, and that you're holding yourself back. And you are feeling a level of fatigue or a level of exhaustion, you feel like you can't motivate yourself, you're noticing that you're procrastinating, or perhaps you've got a lot of brain fog or digestive functions kind of like off kilter. Perhaps it's really hard for you to think positively at the moment. Like you're just like, yeah, I know this stuff. Like I've lived and breathed this perhaps before, but like for some reason I can't get my mind out of it. Then, I would suggest definitely let's have a conversation. It could be that you're experiencing high levels of adrenal fatigue. When that happens, it is really, really difficult. There's 4 different components that we need to heal within your body, which is your emotional self, your mental self, your physical self, and your connection to self or your spiritual self as well. The reason why those 4 areas are absolutely imperative is you can take all the supplements under the sun to heal your body. And if you are not dealing with the mental BS that's going on in your mind, that creates an emotional state within you that activates the adrenal glands, that keeps that constant stress, that constant cortisol, that shaky feeling internally, or disempowerment, like within your physical body, of feeling lethargy, feeling exhaustion, feeling fatigue, feeling you just haven't got the mental power or focus or capacity to be able to put your full energy behind what it is that you wish to create, then we definitely need to speak, because it is a really challenging stage to go through. I've been through adrenal burnout myself 3 times, and it is really difficult. And thank God I've got the tools. Thank God I understand what's actually happening, because some of our thoughts in that process can be actually quite dark. It can be really, really difficult if you don't understand what's actually going on with your body, and it leads to greater criticism. I should just be able to pull myself together. I should just be able to motivate myself. What the hell's wrong with me? There's all these thoughts and stories that kind of get attached to that, and that continues that downward spiral where we continue to beat ourselves up, and people can literally burn out resting on the couch. If you're in a state of negativity, if you're really beating yourself up or having a lot of internal inner critic dialogue going on, and you're in emotional state continually that doesn't feel good, either fear or anger, rage. Anger and rage often present because it's the body trying to actually preserve and guard itself and heal itself. It's like, no, don't do that thing. So there can be like a lot of anger come up when other people are inviting us to do stuff, or we're wanting to do stuff, or there can be an immense propensity to want to socially withdraw, to not see anybody. There can be deep shame or deep guilt attached to it, particularly if we've got a family or people that are relying on us, or we feel responsible in some ways. There's so much that kind of goes into this. And that's exactly what we cover off. It's what I have helped, thousands of people with over the years, to really move forward. And after being through that myself, like I said, 3 times, I really understand it at a deep level, and can often help people shift very, very quickly into a new state of being that helps their body to heal. And adrenal fatigue can take a bit of time to heal. When I say a bit of time, sometimes 6 months to 12 months. But with the right knowledge and the right tools and skills, you will be feeling much better, certainly within a much shorter period of time, as in a couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. You'll notice a significant difference and notice the body starting to pick up and regain its energy again and come back to living that life that you truly want to as well. So like I mentioned, I will pop that link below, guys. So if that really resonates with you, then please reach out to me, book a call in. The call's 100% complimentary. We can see where you're at currently with your health and what is the root cause. Because often if we go to the doctors, they might just be like, no, your bloods are fine, like you're all good, it's mental health. And truly that really honestly breaks my heart when people are told that, because it's actually not the truth of what's actually going on. And that's not to diss Western medicine or anything else. I have huge respect for doctors and huge respect for Western medicine. It's just not the complete picture. And often people can be misled down a path that actually truly doesn't serve them, that is a Band-Aid fix that only projects that problem further and further, when the actual issue is not really correctly understood underneath. So like I said, if that is you, if you really resonate, please jump on a call with me. Let's have a conversation and see if and how I might be able to help you. And at least you'll be clear on kind of what's going on for you, at the very least. If I'm not the right person, or not the right fit for you, I'm more than happy to refer you to somebody who I believe really could help you and really make a difference. So loads of love. I'll catch you guys later. Have an amazing rest of your day. And as always, if this has helped you in any way, shape or form, please like, love or share it. Truly appreciate you all for tuning in, and have loads of love and gratitude for you all. Have an amazing day. Bye for now. Mwah.